Big Ed's hospital revelation, a 90-day fiancé update. The faint hiss of an oxygen machine broke the silence, filling the sterile hospital room with an ever-present reminder of vulnerability. The rhythmic beeping of monitors pulsed steadily, their artificial glow casting dull reflections against the beige walls. The air carried the unmistakable scent of disinfectant, clean yet suffocating. Lying in the hospital bed, Big Ed Brown, known for his time on 90-Day Fiancé, appeared a shadow of his usual self. His once rosy, expressive face was now pale, drained of its familiar vitality. Every slight movement made him wince, discomfort spreading across his chest like an unwanted guest. His fingers absently traced the foreline connected to his hand, his mind clouded with thoughts. A nurse, mid-40s, professional yet warm in demeanor, adjusted the oxygen tube beneath his nose. Her eyes flickered with quiet concern as she jotted down notes in a well-worn medical chart. "Your oxygen levels are stabilizing, Mr. Brown." "That's a positive sign," she said, offering him a reassuring nod. Ed exhaled shakily, his voice rough. "How long do I have to stay here?" "That depends on how quickly you respond to treatment," she replied. "The doctor will be in shortly to check on you." With a gentle smile, she exited the room, leaving Ed alone with his thoughts. He watched her go, then turned his gaze toward the small window. Outside, the world moved on without him, cars honked, people hurried along the sidewalks, life continuing as if his absence were inconsequential. His head sank back against the pillow, eyes drifting toward the ceiling. A vibration on the bedside table drew his attention. His phone. The screen, illuminated with missed calls, unread messages, and notifications from concerned friends and fans, pulsed insistently. Swallowing hard, he reached for it, his fingers trembling slightly. He unlocked the device and opened the camera app. The reflection staring back at him was barely recognizable, hollow eyes, gaunt features, an exhaustion deeper than simple fatigue. He let out a slow breath, then, with determination, pressed the button to go live. The screen flickered to life. His voice, though gravelly, carried weight. "Hey, folks. Big Ed here." A pause. "This is not how I planned to check in with you all, but I needed to talk." Shifting slightly against the pillows, he steadied his grip on the phone. "For a while now, I haven't been feeling great. It started with a cough, feeling tired all the time, short of breath. I thought it was just a cold, but it wasn't." He glanced at the oxygen tube, the sterile walls enclosing him. The weight of his own negligence pressed down. "It's bronchitis," he admitted. "And I let it go too long. I ignored it, convinced myself it would pass. But it didn't." A brief silence hung in the air, heavy with unspoken fears. "I should have seen a doctor sooner. I should have taken it seriously. And now, here I am." His eyes softened as he stared into the lens, connecting with the countless followers watching in real time. "I know a lot of you look up to me, follow my journey, laugh with me, even criticize me," he continued. "But if there's one thing I want you to take from this, don't ignore your health. Don't brush off the signs. Life moves fast, and we take our bodies for granted, until they remind us that we can't." A weak smile tugged at the corner of his lips. "I'll be okay. I just need time. But if I can share anything valuable with you today, it's this: listen to your body. Don't wait." He exhaled deeply, letting the weight of vulnerability settle. "Love you all. Talk soon." With a final nod, he ended the live stream, letting the silence of the hospital room reclaim him. The machines hummed softly around him, a reminder that, for now, his only task was to heal. Ed's voice wavers ever so slightly as he speaks, swallowing hard before pushing forward. His eyes flicker with unspoken thoughts, but he presses on, determined. "Don't be like me," he warns his audience, his tone tinged with regret. "If you're sick, don't dismiss it. Everything is connected to your health." He inhales deeply, his breath shaky, then abruptly ends the live video. Setting his phone aside, he leans back into the hospital bed, eyes shutting as he absorbs the weight of his own words. Silence settles in the dimly lit room. The door creaks open moments later. A middle-aged physician, Dr. Smith, strides in with a clipboard in hand. His calm demeanor remains unchanged as he studies the chart before looking up. "Mr. Brown," Dr. Smith addresses him, voice measured. "We've confirmed your diagnosis, bronchitis. The infection is bacterial, but with oxygen therapy and medication, you should recover soon." Ed nods, processing the information. Guilt knots in his stomach. "If I had come earlier," he murmurs, his voice trailing off. Dr. Smith meets his gaze knowingly. "It wouldn't have progressed this far," he states matter-of-factly. "Ignoring symptoms only makes things worse. But it's not too late to start making better choices." Ed exhales sharply, rubbing his face. A hard-earned lesson. A large education. Dr. Smith nods slightly and heads toward the door. "We'll monitor you overnight. For now, focus on resting." As the doctor leaves, Ed stares at the ceiling, his mind a whirlpool of thoughts. His phone buzzes beside him, thousands of messages flood in. Fans, friends, even former castmates send words of encouragement, concern, and support. His worn-out features soften as he absorbs the outpouring of goodwill. After a moment, he reaches for a notepad from the bedside table. Flicking his pen, he begins to write. "Take health seriously. Regular checkups. Eat better. Prioritize fitness." He pauses, tapping the pen against his chin before underlining a single phrase with firm resolve. "No excuses." A small but deliberate smile tugs at his lips. Days later, Ed steps into a gym, his presence a mix of exhilaration and quiet determination. The trainer greets him with an encouraging nod. Approaching the treadmill, Ed takes his first steps, slow, hesitant, but purposeful. No excuses. Breathing heavily, not his chest rising and falling rapidly, Ed pushes forward. His breath is labored, sweat beads on his forehead, but determination burns in his eyes. The coach gives him a nod of encouragement, and he presses on. Later, in his kitchen, Ed meticulously chops fresh fruits and vegetables, tossing them into the blender. He presses the button, watching the vibrant colors swirl into a thick, green smoothie. Lifting the glass, he hesitates, then takes a slow, measured sip. His face twists slightly at the unfamiliar taste, but after a moment, he nods in approval. "Not bad," he murmurs. At his next checkup, Ed sits across from Dr. Smith, who carefully examines his updated health chart. The doctor looks up, a pleased expression on his face. "Your numbers are looking great, Ed. Whatever you're doing, keep it up." A broad smile spreads across Ed's face as he shakes the doctor's hand. He feels a surge of pride, his efforts are paying off. That evening, Ed starts another live video from his couch. This time, his face glows with energy, his eyes shining with newfound confidence. "Hey, everyone," he begins, his voice filled with excitement. "I just wanted to share some fantastic news. I feel incredible. The best decision I ever made was taking responsibility for my own health. He leans in, sincerity radiating from him. And you can do it too. If I can make this change, so can you. Let's look after each other. With a deep, steady breath, Ed ends the video, setting his phone aside. Leaning back, he exhales with satisfaction. For the first time in a long while, he feels truly in control of his life. This journey isn't just about fitness, it's about self-empowerment. If you liked this video, share your thoughts in the comments and stay connected by subscribing to the channel. Thank you.